Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 47 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank y'all so much for being with me today. Our tangle is going to be Trix by Lucy Farron, and I think I have the date right. So, this is the tangle. Now, basically, this tangle is what's called a reticula, meaning it's a framework from which you can use it to fill with other tangles. And I have just a couple of examples here. This is one of the typical fills that you get with triangles, and these are all triangular shapes. So if you have the Zentangle Primer, Volume 1, you will have a bunch of triangular fills in the back of that, and that book can help you decide some fills that you'd like to try on this. Now, you can fill this with as many different kinds of tangles as you want. Today is the day that you get to, just go crazy, put all the tangles in you want. That goes for me too, and just go on. What we're doing today is a framework, and it's built on the tangle cadent. And if you'll remember, cadent is formed with this S shape where you have two dots and you take off high and you land low in an S shape. Okay, that is the cadent stroke. This tangle does not use that many dots or any dots. It has a few natural ones when these come together. But let me show you what I'm talking about, and I should have shown you this before. I'll show you again when we do the tile. But what this is it's basically a bunch of little pinwheel shapes. See, here's one here, and here's another one right here. Now open your mind, see this one right here, and this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, they're in here. You just have to look for them, and they're all done in a circular form. Let me show you how we do that. This is the 6th day in our collaboration with Tangle and Inspire, Aishwarya Darba, CZT 32. And I was in her class, so that's why I say that. And this is a radial tangle, meaning that it starts with a center point and it radiates out from there. So let me show you what we're going to do. And if you're familiar with the tangle cadent, this is very much cadent, but in a framework. Okay, so you're going to start with a simple S, and my PN is rapidly running out of ink. I am going to have to buy another 3-pack or a 10-pack or a 15-pack or something. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this, the end of this, where it's in the center, as our center point. And we're going to draw 6 of these S shapes around. Okay, so what I do is I usually think, okay, so just make another S shape. I'll stop. You guys can figure this out. You're very smart. And from what I have seen, very talented. Okay. So I have 3 here. I probably should have stretched those out a little further. There's 4. Go back over these. I'm going to try to get this pen to work throughout this video, and then we'll see where we're at. So here's 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll put one more over here. Okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect or perfectly even or anything like that. All right? But this is what you want to start out with. 6 S shapes joined in the center. Okay? So now what do we do? Well, we're going to make this into a little cadent triangle. Okay? We did cadent day 2 of this challenge or this project. And so we're basically, that wasn't very curvy, but we're going to basically make this S shape again and close each one of these off, okay? It's the exact same stroke we used, putting these in a circle. So just that cadent S stroke, taking off top, landing on bottom. And if you're lefty, just turn it around and do it your way. It'll work. Okay. So now you can see that we do have a radial tangle that does start here in the center and radiates out. Okay. Well, how did I end up with that big mess on my tile then? Let me show you. Okay, so pick any one of these intersections, and we're going to make 3 more S shapes here. So I'm going to put one in the middle, then I'm going to turn it this way, and put another one, and turn it this way, and put a third one. Okay? Now watch. We're going to hook this up here with an S shape, same shape. Okay? Turn your tile. S shape, S shape, S shape. So we added 3 little S shapes and then filled those in. Now look what we have. Here's our first little pinwheel shape. But now what we have is another one. Okay? And this is what we're going to do. This is how I ended up with that whole mass of things on the other tile, is that I keep putting these in until I'm ready to stop. All right? So I'm going to come down here and put another one. And these can be as large or as small as you like. Come on, pen. All right, and so we're going to fill this in now. Just an S shape, just like the rest of them. Exact same stroke. Just like that. And when we get to the end, look, we have another pinwheel shape right here. All right. Now, the question is, do I want to go as crazy as I did on the last one, or do I just want to stop sooner? Okay, let's go ahead and put one more here, and let's address this. Look here. Now, we have been going to intersections and adding 3 S shapes, okay? And remember, each one of these pinwheels is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections in it, okay? So if we want to put something right here, what I need to do is find the bottom of my pinwheel shape and see how many shapes I've got here. 1, 2, 3. So I need to have 3 sections over here. So what I need for this one is to have 2 S shapes that I add in, okay? And that's going to give us 3 more sections. Connect them with S shapes. Remember, you are repeating the same stroke over and over and over on this. All right, so there's another one. So now we have 4 of these little pinwheels here. Pretty cool, huh? What I really want to do is offset that and put another one over here. And here, again, I have 3 sections already. So I'm going to want to add 2 S's. And that will, remember, 2 S's will get you 3 sections. Okay. Connect them with S shapes. All right, and that's where I'm going to stop with mine. Now I have a pinwheel here, one here in the middle. I have 2 down here. Okay, so I think I'm going to like this for interest a little bit better than the configuration I had on the example tile, which I sat down and now I don't know where. Oh, here it is. See, I have a lot more on this, and it was straight sort of a straight squarish type of a thing, and I wanted a little more visual interest, so I left some room right here and here. Now I could fill these in and make it a big square again, but I want to do things, I want to change it up just a little bit. But I am going to use my very favorite fill that I used on there, and that was, bring it back, and that was filling it with these little flux shapes. Okay, we did fluxism back. This is your basic flux shape, and I've just brought a flux piece in from each corner and filled it with orbs. And now, while this fill is very typical triangular fill for this type of a pattern, I really like the effect that I got with the flux. So on this tile, I am going to do that again. And this time I'm going to use my brown pen because I love the contrast between the black and the brown. And I changed my tile from gray to an original tile because the cream color on this is going to go great with my brown pen. Okay, and I'm using, for this, I'm not using a PN, I'm using a 01. Which reminds me, I need to get a pack of PNs in colors. There's a thought. Okay, so the most important thing you can do for yourself at this point is to aura the insides of each one of these sections. It's a little, or it can be tedious, or you can look at it as zenful. Depends on your attitude, doesn't it? And that's what I'm going to do now. All right, guys. While I do this fill, or the auras in each one of these, I am going to read you some comments. Okay, so this one is from Karen Kramer, and she says, I'm really enjoying your videos and your gentle Southern encouragement. Thank you for your time and effort that you're taking to make them. You reminded me of something an embroidery teacher told me once, that we all think that the person on our left has nicer stitches and the person on the right has nicer colors, but remember that each one of us will always be the person to the right or left of another learner. And that is exactly what you're saying about Zentangle. Don't give up, just be you. She's in Melbourne, Australia. We are opening slowly, but with great vigilance, and the curve has definitely flattened out, but we are still seeing random local clusters. Fortunately, out of 7,000 cases, we've only had 100 deaths. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I am so glad to hear that everyone in Australia is coming together and getting things to work out. That is a great comment. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate that. All right. I don't want to make these longer. I need somebody to read those for me. That's what I need. As I was editing the video yesterday, I was starting to notice something as I watched myself fill in the straight lines. And that was how much of a difference it made on my pen strokes, whether I was pulling towards me or pushing out away from myself. And in that situation, I felt like I had much, much better control over my pen pushing out. And so one of the things I want to be practicing is trying to utilize that knowledge by practicing and making a mental note each time I start a pen stroke to push out with it. Now, again, this is not the way they teach you. Generally, the rule of thumb for people is that pulling towards you, as I'm doing now with your pen stroke, is a better way because it allows you more control over your hand and the pen. I'll tell you this is much harder. So it's something to think about. And another thing I wanted you guys to think about was this, that you may benefit from watching yourself tangle, so or draw for that matter. And so if you would like to do that, just get your phone or have somebody record you for 15-20 minutes. Simba is having a puppy dream, and it's making it very difficult for me to RO these sections. Simba, wake up. Get that squirrel later, buddy. And see, I got distracted and I pulled towards me. Now, I'm not saying that the strokes that I'm pulling towards me right now are not okay. They are. They're just fine. But yesterday with the straight lines, I was definitely getting a better result pushing out from my body. So I don't know what the answer is for me or for any of you for that matter, because I know there's a lot of you that watch me that struggle with the same issues. The tremors in your hands, the shaking, maybe unexpected jerking, which is something I get a lot of. I feel your pain. I feel your frustration because I know how you feel. This is how you feel. You feel like if only those would stop, you would have something really amazing on your page. And I'm here to tell you something, that even with the shaking, you can still have something amazing on your page. So please, don't give up your fight. I am learning to adapt to my situation with my physical abilities all the time. And so I want you guys to remember that drawing is muscle memory. And so the more you draw, even if you're awful, you're going to get better. If you draw every day, you're really going to get better. If you draw a lot, like I do, almost constantly a pen in your hand, then you're going to rapidly improve. So don't give up on yourself. Remember that everyone starts in the same place with a shaky pen and feeling unsure about themselves and their art, being embarrassed about showing it to people that you love because you think it's stupid or silly. And I'm here to tell you, it is not. This is a way to relax and allow your creativity to have a voice. And for so many of us that are shut in and trapped away from people, it is critical that our creative sides have an outlet. I know this from a very personal standpoint because I was a musician. I was a singer for many, many years. That was my identity. That was what I was good at. That was who I was. And when I began to get sick, it started affecting my ability to be on stage. And I cared about that. Part of my joy in creativity is sharing that. And so that is the same with singing or playing an instrument or drawing is what I'm finding. And so even if you can't do the thing that you used to be good at, you can do this. Remember, if you can draw those 5 strokes I mentioned in the video yesterday, the I with the dot, straight line, then an S curve like we are using today, a C curve, and the orb shape, the zero or the circle-ish. Although we call them orbs because circle is a geometric term and it implies something that does not usually happen in hand-drawn art. And that's okay. I've also come to appreciate the hand-drawn nature of what we do. Anybody can Photoshop stuff and make it look good. Well, maybe not. But what we do is we take a real piece of paper and a real pen or a real drawing pad and electric pencil. What am I saying? You know what I'm saying. Like the Apple Pencil, a stylus type thing. And we put it on paper or tablet and we draw every stroke. And we live with our wiggly lines. We live with the color we put in. We live with the shading. We live with our messy pen strokes. We live with our perceived mistakes. And if we can just come to the place where we understand that, no, you're not getting it wrong. And I'm telling you guys now, you guys are always asking me, did I get it right? You can't get it wrong. Even if what you did isn't what I did, even remotely. It's not wrong. It's just different. Learn to embrace those things about yourself that is unique, that are unique. This was something that was so hard for me when I started YouTube, because I'm a perfectionist, and every time I saw a line come out, let me zoom in. Okay, I've actually done a fairly good job with this. But every time I see a line come out with these little wiggles, right? Or overshooting it, or whatever your perceived problem is in your particular thing, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not wrong. It's just different. Hand drawn. Hand drawn means stuff happens. And the more you practice, again, the better your muscle memory will get, the better and more perfect those S shapes will be. And even if you have practiced them over and over, all mine aren't the same. So my first piece of advice to you, cut yourself some slack. Art is tough. It's fun and it's relaxing, but it's tough. It's hard work. You put a lot of time goes into this. And even on these small pieces, I can spend 5, 6, 7 hours, even a couple of days on a single tile, depending on what I'm doing, just trying to get it just so. Now, that isn't the point of Zentangle. That's more of an artist thing. But there's nothing wrong with it. You can do it if you wish. You can care about the outcome. We are not looking for a specific outcome. We just want you to focus on the stroke of the pen. And what I'm trying to tell you is that if you can do that, the rest is going to come. The rest is going to follow, and you're going to be successful with this. And I have so many of you new guys out there, so I am preaching a lot in these videos because I want you to hear me. You cannot get this wrong. If you choose, well, for example here, if you forget to put your inner aura in, which, you know, yeah, it's a biggie, but it's not the end of the world. See what happens. Put in your patterns in the fills and see what happens when you put it together without an aura in. I just happen to know that this is a lot more fun with an inner aura to give you a little separation between sections. But you don't have to do it this way. You can do it whatever way you like. And that's what I encourage you to do. Now, I did spend a lot of time trying different fills, different fill patterns for this. And I definitely came out, turn that over. I definitely came out with a favorite, and that is my little flux thing that I showed you. So that is what I'm going to do. You may put whatever fill in here that you would like to, whatever makes your heart happy, whatever relaxes you, whatever you enjoy. That is what I want you to do. And if you need some ideas, you can get your Zentangle primer out if you have one, and you can look at all of the triangle fills in the back. And there's probably lots of art around. You could go to on Facebook, they have a Z3 group, I think, where they use the little triangular tiles. And so you probably get a lot of ideas from looking at those. So I just encourage you to be creative with these. Do as you would like to do. And don't let me influence you if you want to do something different. Okay, now when I run out of room here, I am sometimes allowing these to overlap. Just a little. Whoa, that light does. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in my 3 flux shapes. They're going to point at each other from each corner. I'm going to follow the curve of each of these corners. And then if I have enough room, I'm going to stick a little orb in there. And I'm going to ink around it. And if you're going to use a different color pen, remember the more you go over that, the darker it will be. So just take that into consideration when you do your inking. You can make that as dark or as light as you'd like, depending on how much ink you use. Now you might not always have room for the orbs if you decide to do this fill. And you might not always have room for 3 fluxes, but just do the best you can. It just depends on the triangle that you're in. So that's what I'm going to do all the way through, okay? And I'm just following the curve up, making a little teardrop shape, coming down. Taking my time. All this screen space, I can never get it right. Each of these can have its own personality. They do not have to look alike. One of the things I love about flux is it just works anywhere. And it always looks pretty no matter what you do to it. I'll have to show you guys one of my flux flowers one day. Show you how to do those. It's advanced because there's a lot of ribboning that goes on, but I think you guys can do it. So that one was really small, and that's okay. He's still gonna have a home here. And I find this very relaxing. I don't know how you guys are going to feel. We'll probably put a little bit of music here on with my new editor. I have a lot more music choices, thank goodness. Because I was tired of trying that random music out. I found a couple of songs that I liked, but most of them I was like, eh. Sometimes I just want a little jazz piano in the background, you know, some classical, something nice, just not too random. Not a big fan of the random. Now, I don't have anything wrong. I don't find anything wrong with that type of music. It's just not for me and not for y'all, I'm guessing. Y'all may be more forward thinking than I know, and that's good. I think at my age with a young child, I'm 58, with a young child, I am forced to, you know, not have too many structured opinions about things. You know, I sort of go with the flow. And even though I'm older, I still like popular music. I love R&B and jazz, classical, love opera. The only thing I'm not just really excited with is the very twangy country music, and even from my part of the country where that is a big deal, not a big fan of that. That may be my music training. I have my bachelor's degree in music performance from a university here, and so I'm a bit of a music snob, but I really try. As far as art goes, I don't have any snobbery. I'm just impressed with everybody that does such a great job. Okay, so this is what I'm going for, and I think this is going to be really lovely. Don't you think? All right, so here we go. I'm really proud of all of you guys who are, I saw on Facebook somebody said something about being 73, and I know I have a whole lot of you, at least 30% of you guys that watch this are over 65. And I'm aware of this, so I don't want to run anybody off. I'm really proud of you guys for taking a step and making art and posting it. That takes so much courage. I am really proud of you guys that have taken that step. If you have not yet, I really want to encourage you. Nobody on there is perfect. Certainly not me. If you have watched enough of my videos, then you're already going to know that. Perfection is a nice goal, but it just doesn't happen. So try to roll with it. But I'm really proud of you guys that have taken that step, especially if you're over 65 and you have taken that step to post art on a social media platform. I'm really impressed with you. Good job. Good job, guys. Good job. Should have a party just for that. Simba's having another dream. And he's jerking the bed, which pushes on the tripod. So, and now he's snoring, which you probably heard. He's missing his boy. Hopefully he will come back safe and sound and have lots of fun and activity and exercise. All right, Sim. You're making things tough for me now, buddy. People are going to think their vision is blurring. You keep rocking the bed. Oh, I just love these little fluxes. I just think they're the prettiest things. And triangles, there are so many fun things you can do in them. If I didn't mention it before, you can get the Zentangle primer on Amazon for $10 in the Kindle version and have an on-the-go thing you can take with you wherever you go as long as you have your phone and the Kindle app downloaded. I also wanted to mention again that on Mosaic, on Zentangle Mosaic app, while it is $2.99 or whatever they're charging these days to post your art, you can download that app and look and be inspired by the art all you want. You can search different pattern names, and when you post on Mosaic, it's very good practice to always hashtag your pattern names so that when people get on there and they want to find a particular pattern, see what it looks like, get ideas for it, then you can go there and see what people have done with that. And that's a really nice quality, and that does not cost anything. So if you would just like to download that and be inspired, then that is free of charge and you may do that. In fact, I really encourage it, particularly if you're new, because it's going to give you an idea of just how versatile this art form is. All right, Simba. He is really scrubbing around today. Said they took away my boy. How about if we watch Scooby-Doo together later, Simba? He says, I like that movie. It has dogs in it. If you haven't seen that with your grandkids or your kids or whomever, you should. If you ever watched the TV series back in the 60s or 70s or whenever, I guess they replay those all the time, you will love this movie. It is just awesome. It's about Shaggy and Scooby's friendship and how they got together. It's pretty awesome. Of course, I'm kind of easy to please too, so take it with a grain of salt. If it can make me laugh and make me want to see it again, then as far as I'm concerned, it's a great kids movie. And notice with each one of these fluxes, I'm just working with the shape of whatever corner I'm starting with and moving out from there. Anything that's left over gets inked in. Okay. So even in these smaller triangles. And if you don't have room for an orb, don't put one in. Just don't worry about it. Oh, I just love this. This is just so pretty. Okay, I'll stop. I'll get busy. Somebody's not happy. I will be glad when we can move away from this street. I live right on a fairly busy street, even though it's just 2 lanes. There's a great big intersection about 2 blocks away. And so in the evening, when everybody comes home from work, the cars line up way past our house. And so we're always hearing, engine noise and exhaust and honking and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm ready to not live on a major street. Okay, Sam, are you done moving? He says, I'm just so upset. Actually, he's going, when are you going to get up and do something, Mom? Later, buddy, later. You still got a little bit to go on this. I really like this. I just love it. So glad I decided to do this tile over and do it the way I wanted to this time. That's I try to give good examples for you guys, but I forget that this is supposed to be zenning me out too. So, do as you will. That is my advice for you. Do what makes your heart happy. There's enough trouble in this world for us to worry about without doing things that make us unhappy. Now, some of the patterns we have done might not have been, your favorite thing, but still, give them a try. If they don't work out, then the next time you see them, you'll know, ooh, that was not one of my favorites. Or you'll be like me and come back to them next year or something, and you go, wow, this is a lot easier than I remembered. That happens to me a lot, particularly when I tackle the tangles that I haven't done since I was a newbie. And there are a lot of those. I was attracted to a whole lot of really complex looking tangles at the beginning. I'm really attracted to the dense ones. And I learned a lot. I learned that straight lines and I aren't always the best mix. I learned that grid-based tangles are not my favorite thing. But I also learned that even though that's true, I can still have good success with them if I have the right attitude again. Ooh, that's a little fat flux. Got room for a big one here. So what type of tangles do you guys want me to put on board next? Do you have a specific kind that you like? I'm thinking we probably need some more organic ones to make some of us happy, me included. No radial tangles after we get done for a little bit. We won't give them up altogether, of course, because they're too awesome for that. But we'll probably have to put some grid patterns in because I know I've got some of you that just love grid patterns. And it's true. If you can get the right ones, they are very zenful. Just strokes of the pen. I really loved Hiroko's windmill pattern that we did. I know some of you struggled with it, but oh my goodness, if you can just get... I really think that the problem with that is you get overwhelmed by all those lines when you get about midway through, and then you sort of want to give up. But if you just focus on each individual square, it all just comes right together. And that brings me back to trusting the patterns. Trust the patterns to work. They will work. Sometimes your strokes may be off or something, and you get an unexpected result, but the patterns work. And just because the result that you get isn't something that you expected, don't throw away your tiles, guys. Keep them. Keep them. You never know when another idea might occur to you. Now, somebody said that to me, and I still have the same big box of old tiles that are unfinished and unwanted and all of that, but I'm not giving them away. I want to use them and see what I can come up with. I think that it's a good idea. And winding down to the end here. The pattern is going to do so much of this, the fill will do so much of the work on this for us. When you put in your inner line, you know, if you have curved your teardrop shape, you can curve your little line. It has rained here, and I can hear the birds singing outside. They love it after the rain. I don't know how you guys feel about rain. I love it. I think one of the first comments we got on this project was, I think it was from Beth Lavelle, who said that she was so zenned out it rained and she didn't even notice it. She was outside sitting in her porch swing tangling and didn't even realize it had rained until she looked up. That to me is the ultimate zenful experience, rain plus tangling. Followed by a nap, right? I just love flux. That's a personal opinion. You guys may have a different one. That's okay. But for me, this is one of my go-to tangles, the ones that zen me out and I just automatically want to jump to. This is one of mine, flux. Although this, what we call a reticula, which means a framework for other tangles, is pretty cool too. Trix, which is our tangle for today. And it really does sort of trick the eye, doesn't it? How pretty is this? I love it. I love it. Not as much as Crazy Blossom, but I'm digging this. I like it. Notice each time I start, I'm following the curve of this line, following the curve of the edge. one in there in the middle. And that'll be fine. 2 more and we are done. Once again, your fills can be whatever you wish them to be. You do not have to do the ones I did. I really encourage you to take a look at the Tangle Patterns article about this pattern. And the step out art was just beautiful for it. So I really want you guys to go and see that. That black tile was full of great fill ideas that she did. So if you feel stuck on that and you want to do something different than what I've done, then go check that out and you'll probably get some ideas there. She uses a bunch of tangles. And really does a good job with them. I'm wondering how this will look if I just orb it out. So this is a long process, but it gives valuable relaxation time. And you don't have to do as many sections as I did if you don't want to. You don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. But this is a basic technique, filling the triangles and stuff, that I really think all the beginners should try out. Because it's part and parcel of Zentangle. By adding other tangles or by meshing tangles together in this way, it's just a completely different creative process. And so this is really cool. Again, I suggest that you watch the Crazy Cadent that Maria Thomas did on Kitchen Table Tangles here on YouTube. You can get that on the Zentangle channel. Should be the latest one they put out. Or you can search for hashtag Cadent or Crazy Cadent and you will find that video. Aha. Now, my friends, I like this so much. I'm trying to decide the best use of shading. I know that I wasn't happy with myself yesterday because I felt like my shading was completely out of control on that. But so I'm hesitant to drag out my pen, my koi pen. But I think there's a couple of places that this might be used to good effect. And that is just a little dab here on each one of these. So that there is some depth here coming out of this corner. Now you do have to be careful because these tend to get outside the lines. One of the reasons I'm enjoying this koi brush so much is it is much shorter and lighter than my Tombos, and I feel like I have much more control over what's happening with this, even though I have more choices with Tombow. I'm also remembering that every time I try darkening an end of something, I get way too much pigment in there. And so I'm trying to go a little bit easier. And sometimes it's just not possible. I will be taking a lot of care with my blending today, since I decided to do this anyway. I do want to put just a tiny bit here where they overlap. Time for a puppy dream. Simba. Oops. I forgot something over here, didn't I? I have to drag that brown pin back out. So all I'm doing is darkening the very tip of these little fluxes inside here. And I think that's going to get us pretty far. If I don't make a mess again. There's definitely a learning curve to shading with markers, and it takes practice. And that's all I'm going to say. See if I've got any more big orbs here. Definitely use pencil on this here in a minute. And probably a jelly roll. So I saw today when I was on Facebook, which is the reason I should check in there every now and again, that any Oaken has got a new lesson coming out on circus tangling. It is so cute. The art from it is so cool. If you have not seen it, or if you are not aware of any Oaken's art, you should totally search her on Facebook and take a look at what she's got going on. If you don't want to be an art club, you don't have to be. You can get her lessons singly if you like. But she is an amazing teacher. One of the best teachers I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of really good ones. So I really encourage you, if you really want to take your art to the next level, join art club or buy a few of her lessons and see where that gets you. If you join art club, then you get all of the lessons that she releases, her most recent one, and all of the lessons that come after that with your art club membership. So the sooner you join, the more junk you get. It's in US, it's like, well, I don't want to say. I may be getting a better price than other people because I've been in there for years. So I'm not going to say how much it is, but I'm guessing it's $30, $35, something like that. And it's really not bad per month, and you can stop at any time, and you get to keep the lessons that you have learned. She just doesn't store them for you, so you have to be aware of that. All right, so I want my colorless blender. There it is. And I'm going to attempt not to make a mess today. No promises. And I'm just going to go through here and just blend this just a little bit on the end. I'm going to try not to bring it up much higher than it is, but just try to blend any line out of it. Like I said, using markers for shading definitely is a learning curve, and I am still learning. This is something that I'm becoming more comfortable with, but it, you sometimes have undesirable results, and when you do this, you cannot lift that out like you can with a pencil. So, practice. If you're going to do this, practice. All right. Which is what I need, is practice. I may come back in with my pencil and go into these little corners and really make them a lot darker. I think that's going to give us a very cool effect as far as the flux coming out of the deep. But just try not to draw it up too far, which is the problem that I have. It's almost like I have brown on this. I wonder if that's picking up some of the brown pigment. Either way, it looks okay, so I'm going with it. Here we go. I didn't do a terrible job with this today, so that's good. That's good. I'm always looking for not terrible. Sometimes we can just be grateful for not terrible, can't we? Not terrible is a place that I can live. I've had too much of the terrible, so I am happy to just have it not be terrible. The kiddo is feeling so good right now. We took the week off. We didn't do anything. We didn't do school. We didn't do exercise. We just took the week off and hung out together. And that was lovely. It's been lovely. We stayed up late last night. We watched 2 movies. We finished our second Harry Potter book. So we, of course, rented the movie and watched it. That's our deal this summer. And we'll see how many of them we get through before the fall comes around. And we'll see what type of situation school is looking at then. Okay, so that much, that brings me to this point, okay? Now, you really can shade this in whatever way you like. You could fill in these little, but you see why, by the way, you see why the auras are so important here. If all of these went right up to the line, I just don't know how that would be. I'd have to try it out and see. So anyway, so this is what I've got for you today. I want to post a picture for you guys in one of these videos soon of Aishwarya's string that she has filled out for this week. She posted it on Facebook earlier today, and I was wowed by it. And there was somebody who left me a comment about how to incorporate tangles in with each other. And that person, I'm really recommending go and watch Aishwarya fill out these strings with the tangles that we've been learning this week, because her journal is just lovely. It's lovely. So get some ideas there and go check out her out at Tangle and Inspire, Aishwarya Darba. She is in India, by the way. All right. I love this. I love how it turned out. I'm so glad I did it over. I'll stick my chop in one of these 2 places. I don't know. Probably going to do it in brown. So, ooh, I am so jerky today. This is our day 47 tile. And we're going to be back tomorrow for day 48. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me this year. I am so thrilled to be back with you and participating in this challenge again. I think at this point I will never be able to not do it again. So that's okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. But the reason I like it is because of all of you. So I want you guys to know that you are meaningful to me. I love your comments. I love them. Even though I am days and days, probably weeks behind answering them, I love getting them. I read every single one. I appreciate everyone. And I just want you guys to know that you are a big part of this. So thank you. All right. So I probably will go around with my black pen and give some redefinition around the outer lines. I'm not sure exactly, but I may do a little bit more work on this. But this is our tile for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed, whoops. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I am going to see you back tomorrow for day 48 and day 6. Whoa, today's day 6. Day 7 of our string. So just 2 more days of our collaboration with Aishwarya. And I hope if you are interested in Zentangle journaling, you will go give her a try. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.